Hey everybody, I've got a floral design question for you. When and if you have a really special customer that is a regular client of yours, comes into your business, they have their own container that they would like you to create something in, but that particular container happens to not hold water. They also want to have something really unusual and out of the box. And you just happen to have a bunch of bananas hanging around. Put the two together, we're talking design tips today. Hey everybody, welcome to EC Flowers and More. I'm Frank Blanchard, AIFD, and today I'm going to show you some really quick tips that you can do to get some out-of-the-box design going on for your special clients that like something out of the ordinary, and maybe they are a client that happens to prefer tropical blooms over your standard floral fare. Okay, so today we're starting with a container. This happens to be a ceramic container that a really good friend of mine and fellow floral designer made, Mr. Jerry Gregg, AIFD. And this is a beautiful ceramic container that I love to death. It's a beautiful kind of a mango shade of orange. And I wanted to do something in this, but I didn't want to actually be putting water in the container. So this is a trick that you can also do if you have a client that comes in and they have a special container that they would like you to make something in for them, but it's really special and you don't want to run the risk of damaging the container by putting water in it. So this is a trick that's real easy, and it's a design trend, very current, very modern, and it's definitely out of the box. And it gives you a way to really use your own creativity, because in many ways, kind of the sky's the limit with what you might do with it. So in this particular container, I have inserted a piece of dry Sahara foam like we normally use with permanent botanicals. And I did not glue it into the container because I didn't want to ruin the finish on the vessel itself. So it's just in there loose, but I did wedge it in there so that it's tight. It's also low in the container, and I topped it, as you can see, with polished river rock. And that rock is giving it the stability and helping to hold that foam in place in the container. The other items that I'm using to elevate the floral that I'll be putting in this design are really ordinary things that you can get anywhere. You can get them at the grocery store, you can get them at the hardware store, you can get them at the home improvement store. And you can get them in different lengths at different times of the year. But it's very basic, very inexpensive. Once you try this technique, you're probably gonna get hooked on it and do it on a lot of different things. But it's shish kebab skewers or kebab skewers. Bamboo. You can get them in different lengths. Some of them are fatter, some of them are more slender, but really inexpensive. And this is an easy way to do this and help elevate the flowers up out of the container that you're designing or creating in. And it's also helping you create a design that is more elevated, but the bottom part you can actually see through. So it's giving transparency to the design. And that transparency is the hot trend in design work. And this design is also going to enable me to utilize something different. And this is something that you can get farm direct from EC Flowers and More with their tropical flowers that they offer. They've got quite a few different things that are definitely out of the ordinary that you don't see every day that would really be a conversation starter with your customers and clientele. And this happens to be little baby bananas. They call them banana fingers. And the way I'm going to use them in this design, using this technique with the shish kebab skewers is going to allow me to do that really easily and make something really striking with the bananas, and also just a very few other stems of tropical flowers and foliage that all happen to be short stemmed at the moment. So let's get into this. For starters, your shish kebab skewers and the way you're able to provide water for the flowers that you're adding to this design. You're using clear water tubes, just the plain generic clear water tubes. They're the ones that don't have the point on the bottom, they're just rounded. And easily what you do is you use your wet tape or daisy tape, depending on what you happen to call it. And you just have to find the end, which I just hid. And you're going to use the daisy tape to secure your water tubes to your shish kebab skewer. And you want to do it in a couple of different spots. And I usually do this by going around the shish kebab, or I should say the water tube first, all the way around once, and then I work in the very end of the shish kebab skewer, and I secure it by going around just a couple of times, and that's it. Rip it off, so you've got that one, and then you're gonna go towards the bottom. I don't go all the way to the bottom, but almost, and do the same exact thing. And this gives you a way to provide water for the blooms that you're using, but it still provides you with a way of creating a very light and airy look to the design. And again, it gives the whole design a transparency because you can see through the bottom. Now, this design trick and tip is something that you get to use your power tools for this one. So as you can see in this design, I have, once I've gotten to this step, got the shish kebab skewer attached to the water tubes. I cover them, and you can do this with just about anything. You could do it with jute twine. Here in this design, I happen to do it with multicolored yarn, as well as some green jute, which you're probably familiar with using this that you get from your floral wholesaler. We oftentimes will wrap up people's cut flowers. When we wrap them up and tie off the wrap, we're oftentimes doing it with something like this. But you can do it with this, you can do it with jute twine, you can do it with yarn, you can do it with raffia. Really, the sky's the limit as to what you actually cover the shish kebab skewers with. Now, if you wanted to, if you like the look of the shish kebab skewers, you wouldn't even necessarily have to cover them. You could leave them the natural blonde wood color and just cover the top part with the actual water tube attached. Now, if you wanted to do something like that, you wouldn't even necessarily have to use raffia or twine or yarn. You could even wrap the whole thing with just an individual leaf. That's an area where using your U-glue dashes or strips comes in really handy, and it makes it really fast to do. Now, I've got one more of these to cover, so I'm gonna set this out of the way and give you an idea as to how I go about doing it and trying to do it quickly. A lot of designers have really gotten into doing this, and we have a tendency, once we get hooked on it, to use it on just about everything. But it's using your power tools, and in this case, your electric drill. And you just want to tighten it into the drill itself, And then using a U-glue dash at the bottom so that you can get that secure and keep it from slipping up your shish kebab skewer. You could also do this same technique really large if you wanted to get the longer, what I traditionally have always called hyacinth steaks or plant steaks. They're bamboo, they're longer, they usually come in anywhere from 2 foot to 3 foot lengths. And you could do long ones with that and get the same effect if you were doing something much larger. This one I'm using the U-glue strip to the top right onto the water tube and the shish kebab skewer, and that's going to help keep my green jute that I'm going to cover this with from slipping off of the water tube. So now that I've got that on there, I'm going to allow the bulb to just go to the floor, because that way it can freely unravel. If you want to keep it from going all over the room, you can definitely just drop it into a bucket. And I am tying this off at the base where I have the U-glue dash, and I'm just tying it in a knot. Nothing special, just tying it in a knot. That's all you have to do. And then you're ready to go. Now, you want to do this gently. You don't want to be using the electric drill at the same speed or pressure that you would do if you were trying to screw a screw into the wall or something like that. You just want to go slow. Start slow. Hopefully this won't be too loud. And you can go back and forth, building up some thickness to it, and it helps give it a really natural look. Once I get to the water tube end, I start a little bit slower so that I can catch that U-glue strip. And again, I'm just covering the water tube to get it completely covered. And I'm making sure that it's tight so that it doesn't slip off. But again, it's giving it a natural green leaf or grass color. And now I'm shifting to the bottom again and going right back to where I started. And from there, I'm just gonna snip the jute. And before I take it out of the grill, I'm just gonna fold it back over itself and tie a knot in it. Once I do that, I can just trim off the ends really short. And now I can insert this into my container with the other pieces. Now, in addition to doing what I just showed you with the shish kebab skewers, you can also do the same thing with this wire that I covered with yarn. And this particular wire that I used is actually clothesline wire. And I used clothesline wire because it's covered in that rubber plastic, which is what helps keep the wire from rusting when you have it outside on your clothesline. But in this application, that coating actually gives the yarn or the jute or the raffia, whatever you happen to be using, something to grab onto so that it doesn't slip back and forth on the wire itself. So, other things that you can do to add a little glitz to this, I'm not going to do it with this one, but these other two that I did in green, I also did the same thing in the electric drill with the gold bullion wire. And just go back and forth several times. It adds a little bit of shine and a little bit of glitz to it, but it still has a real natural look to it. So now, I'm gonna set this aside for just a moment and collect the flowers, and I'm gonna show you how you can quickly and easily add just a few things to this, along with the bananas, for a really stunning finished product. So hold on tight, and I'll be right back. Okay everybody, I'm back with the flowers, and I'm gonna show you really quickly how you can finish off this type of design style with just a few stems of flowers and a couple of items that are more unusual and out of the box. The very few flowers that I am adding to this, I have some tropical anthurium, I've got some red and also green, some green trick dianthus, some peach-colored hypericum berry, and some platycerium or staghorn fern frond foliage. And the one additional item that I'm adding to this, which is really going to be the out-of-the-box part of this finished design, are these small little banana fingers. Very unusual, and this is an item that you can get in the tropical selection from Easy Flowers and More. So this is something that you can get direct to your door, farm direct, and can give your design styles a really out-of-the-box look. I filled all of the water tubes, and now really quickly, I'm just going to add a few of these items to finish off the design. And this is something that you could do in all different kinds of containers. You could use this specific technique using the shish kebab skewers or the plant stakes or bamboo stakes, whatever you might decide to use. But you could do it in just about anything. If you happen to have a wood tray, you could do it on that. And I have filled these water tubes with water. The wire I've just attached with a small amount of what we call bind wire. So that's what I've attached it with. I've inserted one of the green trick into the center tube, and I'm going to use that as a means to hold one of the stems or clusters of these little banana fingers. I'm going to set this in and work some of the bananas in amongst the wire in a couple of different spots, because that's going to be really what helps to secure the bananas into the design. And again, because this is clothesline wire that I'm using at the top, you can bend it around and use it however you might want. You can adjust it, get the look that you want, but that gets one cluster of the bananas to the top of the design. This other cluster I thought I would use at the bottom to help bring that green color down to the container, which will help with that connection between the container and the flowers. That way it all looks like one cohesive piece. And I'm just working this in between the shish kebab skewers, and I'm having it just sit on the top of the rocks at the top of the container. So there I've got 2 bunches of banana fingers into the design, and now I'm just going to add the few flowers to the top. So I'm going to start with my platycerium fern foliage, and I'm really cutting it down so that it's not too long. I really don't want to cover all of the armature that I've taken the time to create. I want to make sure that people can actually see that. So I'm cutting that down, adding the platycerium here, and I'm really only going to need a couple of pieces give me enough green to really finish off and give a little bit of fullness to this design. Cleaning up the stems slightly. This one I'm going to bring to this side. And again, adding some of the green trick dianthus really adds a nice texture to this because it really does have the look of a tropical moss. All of these flowers are varieties that aren't going to drink very much, so you don't have to worry about the fact that the water tubes themselves don't actually hold much in the way of water. And from there, I'm going to add a couple of stems of the peach-colored hydrangea berry, and that's going to help bring the color of the container and the yarn further up into the design. Now I'm going to add these few red anthurium, one towards the front, and I'll put one towards the back. Now I'm coming in with these really pretty small lime green anthurium. And one towards the top on this side to make sure it's actually going into the water tube. There we go. And this last one, keeping it really short, I'm actually putting it underneath the platycerium on this side, which is creating a little bit of sheltering going on in the design. But from that, clean up the space a little bit so you can see it better. Gives a really unique, out-of-the-box design using this trend and technique of the shish kebab skewers, or your plant stakes, or your smaller pieces of bamboo. You can really do it with just about anything. In your electric grill, covering it with yarn, jute, twine, string. You could do it larger scale with rope. Really, the sky's the limit. And it gives you a way to get flowers up out of a container and give it a much more elevated look to the design. So give this technique a try. See what you think. Until next time, I'm designer Frank Blanchard, AIFD, and we'll see you really soon. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you do know when we upload new videos, because we're making new ones for you all the time. So until next time, we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.